Hiya, it's Xavier. I'm just about to pop on a plane to a deserted desert island, and I've got to pick 3 bonsai to take with me. But which ones will I pick? And more importantly, what will other people pick?
Xavier, how can you ask this?
It's Darren from Bonsai here.
The natives have proven to be unfriendly.
I'm so excited!
I know, desert island bonsai. How real is that? One of my subscribers, bless her, asked if I was stuck on a desert island, which 3 bonsai would I bring and why? And after I'd finished laughing and suggesting that much as I'd love to bring a bonsai onto a desert island, we might have issues with salt water, I sort of got pulled into it a little bit. So here are my 3 desert island bonsai. And I hope you understand why I've picked them. But please, ignore the fact that we'll never be able to keep them alive. Well, my first choice will probably not surprise many of you. Certainly if you've watched my channels, you'll know that my wife, bless her, died, gosh, we're nearly 3 years. In fact, by the time you watch this, it will be a month shy of 3 years. And probably the most important of my bonsais that I would take with me on a desert island is Zita's apple. It's a memorial to her. But do you know why I want it more? Not only will it remind me of her, but one day I'm going to get some glorious red apples off this, and that's going to keep me alive.
Apple, apple, apple.
I just need to find something that's going to keep me alive until they grow. Oh, and I'll need bumblebees as well, won't I? Actually, I'm probably going to need another apple tree, because you need 2 apple trees of different sorts, don't you? Yeah. Well, at least I'll have the woolly aphids, because we know this thing loves woolly aphids, and in this new world we live in, we're all going to be eating bugs soon enough, I think. Well, my second choice is my Japanese white pine. It was easy. It's the first ever proper tree that I bought back in 2002 for the ground sum of £45. It has survived everything that I've thrown at it. It was literally left alone in a small pot for 10 years. I did nothing to it, and it still managed to survive. So, in fact, it's even survived the latest attempt where I've learnt to wire one of these things semi-properly. So, why would I take it with me? It's a survivor. If it can survive everything I've thrown at it, then I reckon it might just survive a little bit of time on a desert island. And it'll be great inspiration for me when I'm looking for ways to survive.
Survivor.
Number 3 may surprise you a little bit because, well, it's not this one. Number 3 has to be a legacy of Tony's bonsai, and that's his triple trunk Zelkova, which I love to pieces. It's a memorial to someone I had a lot of respect for, and for someone who I knew for such a short time, but it holds a lot of value to me. And on top of that, it's a beautiful tree. May rest in peace, Tony. Now, as for my favourite food item I take, well, anyone who knows me knows I was brought up in Australia, and my favourite ever, it's not really food, the thing that I would eat to death, or my death, a chocolate bar called Cherry Ripes. And they've got cherry, coconut, all covered in a dark chocolate. And every time someone comes back from Australia, they'll bring me back Cherry Ripes. So if there's anyone in Australia who feels like they want to look after me, feel free to send me some Cherry Ripes through the post, because I still can't get them here. After all, if you're on a desert island, what's the one thing that's most practical that you need most? Something that's chocolate, because chocolate doesn't melt, does it? This is getting stupid. And my drink, again, it's going back to a childhood favourite. I loved sarsaparilla, which is root beer. And I think the closest you get to it over here might be Dr. Pepper. But when Dad and Mum and myself and my sister used to go camping in Echuca, we used to get sarsaparilla, and my mum loved it as well. And I remember upsetting a whole tin of it over her. It's very sticky stuff. So sarsaparilla and cherry ripe. And I think that covers my desert island bonsai top 3 trees, food and drink. So, who else participated in this? In fact, I know the next person. It's Adam. So Adam, I'll hand over to you.
Hello Xavier, this is my desert island bonsai. As you know, I've been lucky enough to inherit a tree from the late Tony, from Tony's Bonsai. The first tree is the oak tree that was gifted to me from Tony and Alex. Obviously it doesn't look particularly good at the moment. I did do some leaf pruning on it earlier in the year, and it really struggled to recover. It is going to get repotted in the spring. Hopefully we'll do a bit of trunk chopping later on in the summer. This obviously holds sentimental value to me because it was Tony's, and I've only been into bonsai for 2 years, and it was Tony that sort of really opened the door for me. I started out with a Chinese elm, thought I wanted some assistance and some tips, and it was Tony's channel that got me there. So yeah, much love for this tree. The second tree, again, sentimental value. This was the first time I took a cutting from a tree and it actually took. I've never had much success with cuttings, and this is a ficus tree, which is obviously very easy to propagate cuttings from, but I was really proud of this tree, and I've kept it in a tiny little marmite pot, and I've just left it and I've wired it, and I think it looks really nice. I mean, I'm hesitant to call it a tree. It is a branch, but I've had it like this for a while now, and it has been pushing growth. It's been doing really well. It's even been pushing roots out the side of the little mini pot, but I plan on putting it into a slightly bigger pot. But you know, as it is now, it sits on my kitchen under a grow light, just looking cool. And the last tree that I will be showing you for my Desert Island Bonsai is a cork bark elm. Now this was gifted to me for my 40th birthday. I know what you're thinking. 40? Really? No, I am. I've managed to maintain my youth through a healthy diet of sticky toffee pudding and Dr. Pepper. But yeah, no, this holds a lot of sentimental value to me because it was obviously a gift from my wife. It did have a big cascading branch on the side of it, and I took it to the bonsai club where, as I said, we bonded over this tree. It was great. Everybody gathered around. We all had to make some big decisions what we wanted to do, and eventually we decided to cut the cascade off because it looked better as an upright. We had choices, but yeah, I love this tree. I can't wait to see what happens with it. My wife makes incredible desserts, puddings, cakes, things like that. If I could take anything, I would probably take a sticky toffee pudding made by my wife with butterscotch sauce and a little bit of vanilla ice cream. Absolutely amazing. I could eat that every day. I mean, I clearly look like I do eat that every day. And for my drink, I'm just going to go for the Aldi classic Professor Peppy. It's Dr. Pepper. It's nice, sugar free. This is my wife's famous red velvet cake. Yeah? Delicious. Best cake you'd ever try. Oh, I dropped my microphone. Well, with that said, it's been a pleasure, and let me know what you think.
Thanks very much for that, Adam. That cake looks pretty nice as well. I think if your wife ever feels like sending me a food hamper, then definitely some of that cake, please. No, so we've had Adam. I've done my bit. Let's see who else wants to tell them their Desert Island bonsai.
Hello, my name is Andrew, and I've been growing trees in pots for many years as a hobby and purely for my own enjoyment. The first tree I have chosen is a Japanese maple of unknown variety, grown from a seed which I collected on a visit to a country garden. I chose this tree as I planted it in the year my daughter was born, which makes it 33 years old now. Both have progressed from vulnerable babies through unruly teenagers into stylish individuals of today. The second tree I have chosen is a Zelkova, or is it a Chinese elm? This was a present from my brother for my 40th birthday. It has been in my care for 18 years now, but is probably twice that old. There is always an added pressure when you are gifted a tree to make sure it survives and hopefully thrives. My final choice was difficult, as I have 3 Chinese elms which I've had for many years. The one I was considering was the first tree I ever bought 40 years ago, so it is quite dear to me. But I finally decided on a larch group planting which I put together this year, 2023. This is my first attempt at a forest and was prompted by watching several well-known YouTube celebrities making their forests.
It was me.
This group reminds me of many holidays in Wales, Scotland and England, but most notably walking and photography trips around Northumberland, in particular Kielder Water and Forest. For my desert island drink, I would choose a strawberry milkshake, as this was always a treat to myself after a visit to the gym, and probably the reason I never reached my goals. For my food choice, I settled on a nice chilled bowl of fruit salad. What better on a hot day than to dive into a cool refreshing bowl of mango, pineapple, melon, grape, etc. The more the better.
Thanks ever so much for that, Andrew, and I look forward to seeing you in the retreat some point in 2024, and also to get an update on how the Italian older little group's getting on as well, and the oak actually thinking about it that you picked up here. I imagine you'll have done a lot more with it than I could have. I think the important thing now is we've got some major stars who are going to put some contributions in now, and the first of those, well, we all know Jason Hanrahan. It goes without saying that the man is a legend in his own time frame. But no, seriously, thanks ever so much for the contribution, Jason. So let's have a look and see what your desert island bonsai are going to look like.
Dear Diary, it's been 45 days since a freak accident saw me washed up on this desert island with a handful of bonsai trees, a year's supply of pot noodles, a kettle and, conveniently, some garden furniture. The weather has been a hellish combination of sun and heat. The natives have proven to be unfriendly. Tending to my bonsai has kept me sane. My Japanese black pine collection fortunately managed to survive the shipwreck, though how they didn't sink in these heavy pots, I'm really not quite sure. Anyway, Michael Hagedorn says that the Japanese consider the Japanese black pine to be the king of bonsai trees, and I can quite see why. Fortunately, the Japanese black pine is a coastal pine tree, so it loves this moist, hot weather. The other tree that has survived the shipwreck is this one, my giant crab apple tree that I got from Heron's Bonsai. Now, fortunately, the fruits on this tree are helping to sustain my diet as well as coconuts, although they are a bit sharp and they are causing some concerns with my digestive system. Almost out of gin. Send help. Oh. Anyway, I need to go prepare dinner.
Well, there you go. Not let down at all. I'm not surprised that he is the next Steven Spielberg, and all I can say is hopefully that pigeon that pooped on him has been trained not to do so again. Well, here I am by my Christmas tree with just a few more days to go, and I did think we need to see just a couple of people who sent stuff in via email, and the first of those is Sylvia. Now, Sylvia's gone straight away, said edible fruits, but she's also picked her three favourites: ginkgo, azalea and Chinese elm. So thanks for that, and I look forward to seeing some pictures of these trees. Now, we've also had a comment from SageBonsai, and immediately that perked up my interest, because you know I've got a sage project on the go, and he said he would take a sagebrush, and the drink he would take is ginger ale, and as for food, basically he said anything that didn't come back up. So a bit of an iron gut, I would imagine. Now, I did get a lot of photographs from Trevor, so thank you ever so much. From the hotter climate, I do believe it might be Caribbean, but apologies if I've just got that wrong. And we're going to see some photos now of his trees that he would take with him. The first one is his Picea abies, and then we've got his trident maple. It's got a lovely trunk on that. And finally, he's gone for a European beech, which he says is completely useless for the sort of 34-degree temperatures that he gets in the summer. And he says it gets very sunburnt and sulky, just like him. But it started off quite a few years ago as an 18-inch whip with no branches at all. And for his drink, it's obvious: Dilmah tea. Nothing's enjoyable as a cup of tea, and Dilmah's the best. Food, well, it's a toss-up between black pudding and lamb shanks.
Come to take the black pudding.
The pudding reminds me of Mum, who cooked it quite a bit. She's been gone a long time, and I still miss her. So in the end, I think I'll take the shanks. Yeah, like many of us, it's amazing what you can put together with just a bit of patience and a lot of time and probably quite a lot of luck as well. But we also now need to have a look at a few other contributions that have come in. The first of these is going to be Jamie, and he's got his own channel, mainly dealing, I think, with koi. But over to you, Jamie.
Hey Xavier, it's Jamie here from Keeping It Koi. I've got many a bonsai, probably around 500, but what would I take to a desert island? Now there's a question. Hundreds to choose from, such as some of my larger yews. Got a lovely beach here with absolutely brilliant nabari. Nor would I bring some of my larger maples. Again, the trunks on these are about the thickness of a Coke can. Not even my Cascade Itogawa juniper. Not even my recently collected hawthorn. Yeah, I wouldn't even take my nice pine that I need to chop next year. Nor would I take my the top of the beech that I air layered earlier this year. Some of you may have seen my video where I did that. But I am a very practical man, so I do think about things before I would make that choice. Now, I couldn't narrow it down to 3, but I have picked my top 4. Now, I've chosen these ones because I'd be stranded on a desert island and these would come in handy. First, I'd take one of my little tiny apple trees so I can get some apples. I would then take one of my larger walnut trees that I've recently chopped this year so I can have some walnuts. All need a bit of protein in your diet. I would also take one of my little cherry trees that I've got. So I've got some cherries. And then lastly, in the background, I would take my Chinese elm because it is one of my favourite trees. Yes, it was one of those mass-produced garden centre plants, but I've had this one now for a couple of years. I'm liking the look at how that one's developing, and because of how vigorous they grow, that one will give me something to do. And that's it. That's the 3 I would take with me. Practical man, so I'd take practical bonsais if I was stranded on a desert island. So yeah, I'd look forward to seeing your video. Take care, Xavier.
That's absolutely brilliant, and as I say, Jamie's got his own channel, so I've got the link in the description if you want to scoot over and have a look and see the sort of stuff that he's doing. As like is my next guest, which is Dave Harding of Dreaming Bonsai. And with us moving towards the new year, only a few more hours to go, all I want to do is start dreaming because I very rarely make it to midnight. But over to you, Dave.
All right, Dave from Dreaming of Bonsai here with my top 3 bonsai retreat bonsais. So let's take a look at these and why I chose them. So excuse the cars and trucks that are driving by. Busy street here. So this copper beech actually is pretty special because I grew it from seed, number 1, and number 2, it comes from a park in my town where I take my kids to play to all the time. So one of those things that when I look at it, it reminds me of my kids and my family, so that's why this one's special. So I chose this kalanchoe plant because this was a cutting that my sister-in-law gave me that was actually my grandmother's on my dad's side, and she's no longer with us, so it's one of those things where I look at the bonsai and then reminds me of my grandmother, so that's pretty special for me. So yeah, that's why I chose this one. And last up here we have my Eastern Redbud, and this one kind of represents my journey through bonsai because it's one of the first ones that I actually grew from seed. One of my older ones too, it's just about 3 years old. Kind of newer to the game here, so it also gets these really cool purple flowers at the beginning of spring, so that's another reason why I like it, because it just looks really cool. But yeah, that's why this one is my 3rd pick. So there you have it. There's my 3 desert island retreat bonsai. And now for the food and drink that I would pick, I would definitely say food-wise, I would do tacos. I could eat tacos every single day of my life, probably for every single meal as well. That's an easy pick for me, tacos number 1. Maybe burritos, no tacos. And for drink-wise, I would pick coffee. I'm definitely a coffee guy. If available, cream and sugar as well. So there are all my picks, and just want to say a happy new year to everyone, happy holidays, and I hope everyone has a successful 2024 and happy growing. Take it easy.
You're not going to believe this. Last knockings, I got a contribution from Jelle of Growing Bonsai. So without further ado, I'm sure you want to know what Jelle thinks of his top 3 trees. Over to you.
Xavier, how can you ask this? It's like asking which of your kids will you give up.
Which one would you be willing to give up?
Now, I don't have kids, so... But I have thought of something. Going through a tropical island, of course, I would need to bring one of my tropicals. And one of these tropicals would be one of my Brazilian grain trees. Matter of fact, I actually have very, very fond memories because it was donated to me by a friend in Brazil, and he gave me a couple of seeds, and this one is now just about to become into a ripened stage. I'm not going to take the camera inside. I'm not going to show you what it looks like now on the windowsill. I'm going to send you a clip of what it looked like earlier this year, and you'll just have to do with that because it is the middle of winter. And the same for the Brazilian grain tree. I do want it to toughen up, get a little bit thicker, but I don't want all these heavy side branches. So a few of the upper branches I'm going to just trim back. Not too much, just to make sure these branches here in the top don't get too heavy, so they can keep on developing the lower branches and the lower trunks. Second one I'm going to walk up to in a second is basically my final project tree when I did my bonsai degree. And it is a pine, it is getting somewhere, it's going to be a really, really nice tree, so I want to take that. I'm just not sure it's going to live there. But you know what, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Don't fall in the... Right, so this is the pine I was talking about. It is really, really lovely. It is curving from here all the way to there, then back down, and then from the back the branch comes to the front. And as I have not done any video on this and it is not ready, it's not completely styled, I want to refine it a little bit more. I'm not going to give you a backdrop. This is just what it's going to be. You'll have to live with this. And then the final one, yeah. You know, I'm planning on living a very, very, very long time. So how about me bringing a ginkgo? Just a young one. I think that's what I'll do. Very, very young ginkgos. These seeds I collected actually, I'm not going to say specifically for your video, but I collected them the last couple of days. They're completely fresh, they still smell, and even if they don't germinate, I can still eat them, right? So I still have food. Now, it's not my favorite food, no, not really. Look man, it's just like with my trees. I do not play favorites, also not with my food and drinks. But knowing you, you're probably going to dump me on an island without drinking water. So drinking water it is. That's my favorite drink to bring. And if I can't, then a good German beer, maybe?
See, the Germans are geniuses when it comes to beer.
And as for food, I don't know. There's going to be coconuts. There's going to be all sorts of seafood on the island. So something very, very different from that. Yeah, let's make it traditional Dutch winter dish. It's mashed potatoes and I mix in there, what do you call it? Curlykaal? Boerenkool? Boerenkool met worst en spek. That's what I'll bring. Anyway, I think it's all for fun. If not, watch where you're going, because next year I might come and surprise you before you can dump me on that island. And until then, have a very good end of the year, enjoy the break, and have a great 2024. I'm wishing you 100,000 subscribers and 10 million views per day on every single video you make.
Brilliant. Now, Mad Bruv, as some of you might know his username, has now become Meadow View, and that's Darren. Yeah, Darren, thanks ever so much for that contribution of wood for the bonsai benches. That is definitely going to be put to good use. And even more so for your top 3 desert island bonsai. So let's have a look and see what you reckon.
Hey Zav, welcome to Christmas at Cutters. Decks are up, and welcome to my 3 trees. First of all, thank you very much for the invite to your desert island, and I'd like to start off with a hawthorn that I've named Danny. He's actually named after my granddad because when I was very young, about 6 or 7, he told me that the berries and the leaves would taste like bread and butter. So naturally, as a kid with over a doting granddad, I decided to try, and I think I almost poisoned myself. So every time I see a hawthorn now, it reminds me of him. I got this 4 years ago. It was a lovely tree, but it always suffered in winter. And the previous owner told me his owner just had a repot, so I left it. This spring just gone, I decided to give it a new pot, and lo and behold, it was full of the water-soluble crystals, which absolutely decimated the roots. Literally, there was nothing left on it. I think it was on its last legs. Not all heroes wear capes. We do save our trees, and yeah, this is Danny. This is Danny the Hawthorn. Tree number 2. This is Arthur. He is a Sangokaku Japanese maple. Basically means coral bark. I don't know if you can pick it out from there, but the winter image of this tree gives you these amazing coloured branches. So in summer, you've got a light green small leaf foliage, but in winter, oh yeah, it's just amazing. So coming in closer then, let's have a look. You should be able to pick out some of the colours. I didn't really design this place for showcasing bonsai at night time, but yeah, look at some of those colours and those branches, absolutely amazing. So my third tree, well technically it's a shrub, is a Satsuki azalea. This is the Duchess the world the Duchess. I don't know what cultivar it is. I did know. It is all written down on my book on post-it notes. When you leave it outside, the slugs and the snails will eat everything that you've written down. I got this tree because growing up I was a massive fan of the Magic Faraway tree. Don't know if you guys ever read that book by Ian Blyton, but basically it's a tree of many levels and places, and every sort of twist and turn a character lives, and there's a world that the kids go up and they join adventures and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, next season I will give her a repot, have a look at the roots, and see if I can rein them in a little bit, give her a little bit more definition. Food wise, I would say good spag bowl, pizza, or we take a barbecue. Mate, we live off the land. Drink wise, get a load of this. This is Old Rosie. Cider, scrumpy. It's basically apple soup, so this should count as both food and drink. This will give us a desert island vibe, mate. Yeah, we'll enjoy this. Just shame we can't give it to the trees. Also, what a great use of a turntable. Look at that.
Okay, well, we've now got a bit of an international flavour. You all know that I talked about Tom of Tomsai Bonsai. I love his stuff, and I love it because I get to practice my German, but he surprised me by sending in his English version of his Desert Island Bonsai. So, over to you, Tom.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom from Tomsai, Little Trees and More. Sorry for my English. I'm from Germany and my English is not very good, so I give my best, okay? I would like to congratulate Xavier for his 3,000 subscribers. Good job. So, now we came to the top 3 trees that I would take with me to the desert island. You see it? This is my azalea. I love the red flowers. They are so beautiful. I will take another one, okay? Taxus pacata. I love this tree. He's a lot of years by me, and from only the trunk, and it's been a long time ago. I love it, and he's my family, okay? And then I come and bring my favorite one, okay? That Pinus mugo is my favorite tree I have. I created it a few weeks ago, so when you look at my channel you see the video, and I think it's a really nice one, okay? That tree must go on to the desert island, yes. And Xavier, you asked me what I prefer to eat and drink at the island, okay? And I hope there is some meat. We can make a barbecue, and I will take a lot of beer with it, okay? I love drink beer and barbecue, so we have a lot of fun at the desert islands with our trees and the beer and the barbecue. So then I wish everyone a happy new year. Lot of health and happiness, and of course healthy trees, okay? So happy new year, guys.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, and I do appreciate the effort everyone's been making. And without further ado, I'm going to go back to me a month ago, because the light's better and my throat is absolutely, I've got a massive cold, so apologies for that now. But let's go back to me a month ago, where I can say so long, farewell, and meet probably our #1 Desert Island Bonsai guest. Before I say adieu, pack my bags, get my shipping crates ready, and head out to the airport to go off to my desert island. But before I get that plane, I know you're all waiting to hear from our guest star, and I wonder who it could be.
Hi Xavier, it's Darren from Gaye Bonsai here. Yeah, so Desert Island Discs. Desert Island Discs, Desert Island Bonsai. The first one's got to be this Cotoneaster. It's probably my best tree at the moment, but also the good thing about them is they propagate really easily. So you can have hundreds of cuttings, so I won't just be doomed to this one tree. I can have thousands of them. I can have an island full of Cotoneaster. They're also really easy, like suitable for a wide range of climates, so it's got to be the Cotoneaster in #1. Next one's this Potentia. Don't know how well I can see it. It's a bit of a bush at the moment, but I just think the trunk is really cool. I kind of love this tree. It's really unusual, and it flowers literally all summer. Oh, and it's really easy to propagate from cuttings. The last one that I've got is actually really suitable for a desert island. Dwarf Jade, Portugal Afra. As a succulent, likes really warm climates, doesn't mind being dry, and there's a bit of a theme. Also really easy to propagate from cuttings. So I'm gonna have a whole island, just a whole island full of bonsai in no time at all. Wish you all the best and keep growing.
Well, I'd like to thank our special guest for partaking in this. Needless to say, it was at great expense, but hopefully you enjoyed that. And once again, thank you ever so much for supporting my channel, for supporting me, and for contributing. You've made me feel part of your community, and no amount of gratitude or words can properly show you how good that's made me.
I'm gonna be sick.
When I look back to when I started this channel, my wife had been dead less than a year. I had no friends. I know, probably still haven't got friends. But now I just have this wonderful bonsai community, and I am so grateful. But anyway, it's the end of 2023. I wish you all a happy new year, and I wish you the best for 2024. And hopefully a few of you will hang around and watch me make a mess of more bonsai. All the best, happy bonsai, and God bless. Cheers.